I mean, from your experience, as you said, when you were Arafura, you're dealing with, percentages.
Yep.
Right? And we're talking a lot less here. And you look at the economics, as you've pointed out. I look at, as I've learned over time, happy to be corrected. When I look at it and people say, oh, these guys are not Ionic, these guys will never work, these guys are this. Now I've heard those comments, although I might be back in the day, thought, yeah, okay, they're right. But now I'm thinking, I don't think those are factors. I don't think, they are important factors, but I don't think they are deal breakers because, as you said, the economics is all about what comes out at the end. Is that a fair way to think?
I think it is. It's all about recoverable rare earths. Not about what's sitting in the ground. When you want to do your project economics around these things, it's all about the recoverable rare earths. So when I see comparisons between projects on EV per tonne sitting in the ground, I just kind of put that aside and not even worry about it. It's all about recoverable rare earths. And most of the projects haven't gotten to the point where they can begin to enunciate the recoverable amount of their rare earths. So you start with something in the clay hosted space that's going to have to be very large because of the grades that you're starting with. So the throughput's going to have to be large. Might be of the order of 5 to 10 million tonnes per annum through a mill, okay? You have to hopefully upgrade those rare earths in a physical way with us at screening and cyclones. You then have to go through some sort of leach process. There's going to be some rare earth losses along the way there because you won't recover 100%. Then you're going to have to go through an impurity removal stage. Won't be 100%, so a few more rare earths drop away, okay? And all the way along, you're getting a lower and lower number towards the end, and really that's where the rubber hits the road at the end, is how much have you recovered from what's sitting in the ground. Now, very few, if any, are at that point in Australia right now, at least from what I can see out there. Not enough organisations have gotten to that end point where you're producing a mixed rare earth carbonate product, for example. You can then begin to tell people, well, what's the actual recoverable rare earths, okay? And remember, you're starting with a low number to begin with. So when you're starting with a higher number to begin with and you get those same rare earth losses, you're going to end up with a high number at the end, okay? Although the cost structures are going to be different along the way. That's the advantage we might have in clay hosted space where there are no mining costs, all the things that people talk about. No mining costs at the start, but you have to work harder in those middle stages as well because you're starting with lower grade to begin with, okay? So again, it all comes back to project economics and what your recoverable rare earths are at the end. And we are now rapidly getting towards that point at HRE, and I'd say there's a bunch of others doing exactly the same thing as well. AR3 being one, IXR overseas have already got a scoping study out. I think they're moving into feasibility at the moment, and you've got a couple sitting in South America who are also at that point. So you're beginning to see what sort of project economics there are around these sorts of things, because you certainly can't rely on the ones that the Chinese put out there, if you can find any at all, given that, one, you don't necessarily trust the numbers, and secondly, well, they do things a completely different way over there. Their cost structures are much, much lower. So the comparison with Chinese deposits is silly on the project economic front. Having said that, though, you're going to have to compete in the market. If you want to get to market and sell product, they're your main competition as it currently stands today, and that's not likely to change rapidly for the foreseeable future.